And welcome back to Market Day Report. We are 15 minutes to the top of the hour. Again, our thanks to our friends at AgroLiquid in St. John's, Michigan. They'll be joining me on a Rural America Live here later this week, and look forward to having them here. I hope you will be too this Thursday evening. Right now, it's the grain and livestock trade. We go to Chicago, and another good friend of RFD TV, Rural Radio, and our Market Day Report, our good friend Todd Horwitz, Bubba Trading. You had a webinar yesterday. For those who would have missed it, you have more. These are free to anyone who wants to get online, and you're all about helping whoever, producers or users of grain and livestock, just have a marketing plan.
100%, and if they want the recording, they can reach me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. I'll be happy to send the recording on my way to St. John's, Michigan to go see AgroLiquid.
There you go. All right. To trade today, a little bit weaker in the grains here. How do you like things as we start to wrap up the month of February here? Corn first. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think corn, I'm still using the March contract as a basis, but I think that 365 is where we're going to go to, if not a little bit lower. There, I'd look to be a buyer. I'm still very positive overall corn, but I need to see some selling, which we are seeing, which, again, we hit 380 in March last week. We've got expiration on Friday in the option, so that will change some of the stuff here. But I am looking to be a spot to buy. I think it's a little bit lower than here. I think soybeans, overnight they were up like 12 or 13 cents, and this morning they were about 4, and now they're lower on the day. That 1040 was a key level. I think that we're going to probably make a run at 10 here when it's all said and done, and then I'd look to be a buyer. Again, I'm looking for spots to buy, but I think there's some work to do on the downside here.
Yeah, we do have the USDA Ag Outlook Forum. Our Janet Atkinson will be there later this week. I know, those kind of numbers, you're watching more technically, but we plant 3-4 more million acres of beans, so you're thinking $10 could very well be in play.
I think it is in play. And again, one thing you watch, I am a technical trader, but I also do watch the money flow and the way that the trade works. And, we sometimes have a tendency to get a little bit too overexcited when we want to buy them, or they tend to get a little too overdepressed when they sell them. And I think that's what you want to, that's the magic you want to watch. And right now, I would say fair price for beans would be 1040. That would sure they would, but we're on both sides of that. And you saw when we got through 1040, we went right to 1065, and now we're on the other side. So there's a pretty fair chance that $10 should come into play. That would be the next level of support in which I would be a buyer.
Very good. And looking at the wheat trade then, we're down about 3.5 in soybeans, by the way. Wheat down even more, 4.5 to a nickel lower generally today, early on. And talk about the wheat trade. Egypt bought wheat last week. 3 different countries. U.S. didn't figure in.
You know what? I'm a big fan of wheat, as you know, and I think that wheat's going to go well over $5 this year. Now here we had, on Thursday, very interesting, had a key reversal. It was flying to the moon, and all of a sudden it decided it had enough. And of course, it's broken about 20 cents since Friday. I think a little bit more selling, and we want to look to be a buyer here. Again, it's been, believe it or not, it's been the strongest of all the grains going back to when we made our lows. So I'm looking for a spot to buy here as well, and I still like wheat as my #1 choice as a trader. Now,
down 2.5 in Kansas City. We're just looking at that as well. And Minneapolis, let's take a look there. Get you updated. March down a penny and a quarter. Todd, part of the reason that you're friendly in wheat is that we're going to be planning perhaps to have the lowest wheat acres in over 90 years, I believe. Is that right?
We're going to have low acreage, and we're also going to have, I'm a believer, even though the dollar is higher today, I'm a believer that the dollar is going to take a big hit coming here, which is going to make us even more attractive. I think that you're going to see between the lack of supply and the lower dollar, it's going to create a much bigger demand. I think we do see that going forward, and that's why I like wheat.
Looking at it a little bit to rebound in the dollar as we speak. This is a live quote here, up about 49 on that March, back to 101 plus, 101.44. Take a break, come back. Todd, we're going to talk about the livestock trade. Todd Horwitz, live from Chicago. We return after this. Welcome back to Market Day Report. We are 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Back to Chicago and back to Todd Horwitz, Bubba Trading, bubbatrading.com. And it's the livestock trade here. We are starting out higher on the day. Live cattle, feeder cattle, and hogs. And you were looking for we had an interesting end of the week here. So with a day yesterday with no trade, it was going to be interesting to see what would be happening higher so far.
Yeah, Mark, I'm not a big fan here right now. I'm a big fan at lower levels, and I don't think we quite took out where I was looking to. I'm looking for in the fat cattle. I'm looking down for about 108 to 110. I think that we saw Friday. I thought it was a little short covering, but obviously there's a little bit of follow through today. but the entire markets in general are in like this euphoric state, like nothing matters anymore and they just want to buy. I think we're going to see some pressure here. I think the feeders are going to look to break the 120 level. Again, I'm bullish long term. I want to be an owner, but I believe that there's going to be some work to be done to the downside to make the upside even better when it comes. And of course, the hog markets, I think that the top is in now. I'm a willing participant as a seller right now for a while. I think there's probably about 8 to 10% that's going to come out of there before they would start to turn around and rally again. Looking
at hogs here, interesting. I'm going to get your comments here. You look at June, July, and August. They're all, well, within a dime almost of each other here, around 70. You basically say 79.5, and you're going to catch June, July, and August hog. Is that normal for a spread like that?
Well, it's not typically normal, but again, you know, the markets, the whole world is not typically normal right now.
Yeah,
but I think what it does say to you is that we were in more backwardation and we are kind of flattening out. But I think that has a lot to do with, we had a real big squeeze between February and April hogs before it was over. If you notice, they climbed way over them, and I think that was a pretty good indication that we might see some pressure here. Again, longer term, I want to be a buyer. If everything ties in together, I will look for spots to buy. But again, from a trading perspective, to me, I think it needs to go a little bit lower and where I can buy at better levels and better prices.
What about the news of the bird flu in China and that, you know, be less poultry and maybe turning to U.S. pork as not a substitute, but taking the place?
Well, you know, again, that's a great point. And again, to me, a lot of that stuff has already been like pre-priced in the market. Yeah. Like we already know that. So the buyers who are going to buy, the buyers that are going to control price and really stop it have already stepped in here. They're not going to wait until they hear the news. They've already started to accumulate, and that might have been part of the reason for the late rallies as well. And again, that's what I look for. To me, it's already priced in. Yeah, well, that's futures markets. That's what they do. Todd, thanks for your time today. We look forward to keeping in touch. In fact, you'll be back with us tomorrow as well. So we'll get an update, see what 24 hours brings us. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too. Todd Horwitz, BubbaTrading.com. Here are the numbers. Let's go to the top of the order. Cattle, feeder cattle, and hog futures as well, and maybe get some cash in here as we ended the week. Again, no trade yesterday. The live cattle futures all higher. February, so we'll quote that for you, up $1.06 right now, and just short of 119. They've been over 119 most of the day. Right now, 118.98. April getting the more volume, and it is up 87 points, and now 115.80. That's after a high, though, about 50 points or so above that here, 116.38 on April live cattle, the high today. Check the feeder cattle trade. Feeder cattle futures higher as well. The March up 67 points now, 124.75, and that's after a high today, early on, 120 over 125.5. Right now we're 124.75. Still, that's up 67 points. April up 85 at 125.05. Look at the cash trade here. I put up those numbers here in the cash market last week, averages that we saw. This is from Ed Serwin and across the 6 major feeding states. Average cash last week just over around 119.5. Average carcass trade 189.91. Our weights up a little bit from the last week, but still down from a year ago. Last week they averaged 887 pounds. Real quick, lean hogs at this moment higher as well. We see that nearby April up, but 7 points, well off their highs, Janet.
All right, thank you very much,
Sure,
Mark.
you bet.
Appreciate it.